Hello, BookTube. I've got a muggy morning mail haul for you today. It's still early in the day. I'm still experimenting with times of day to film and places to film in an attempt, so far completely fruitless, to avoid the giant penumbra of otherworldly light that seems to follow me wherever I go and that exists independent of the light sources outside or inside. It is right now dark outside. You would never know. I'm telling you, your eyes are deceiving you. It is dark outside. It is heavily, heavily overcast and so humid, such a bottled up feeling that I can't help but think that the weather predictions of rain, of torrential rain later today will turn out to be true. It feels that way. It feels like the bubble is about to burst, so to speak. But there is no way at all that it should look this way. But I don't know if we'll get more mail later in the day. I would hope so. But we've got a little mail haul here. We'll see what's in it, see if anything is of interest. Let's see what this first one is. Oh, well, okay. This is how not to pack a book into a package. This is how not to do that, because this means that I have to destroy it in order to get it out of the package. So if I put the pieces together, I see that this is an October release. I'm hoping it says that somewhere else on the pub sheet, because that was destroyed. There's no way that I can hold on to that. What have we here? Oh, I also had to destroy the book. The book is also ripped. Okay, well, this comes out in paperback. We saw this already. I had to totally destroy this thing. That is so annoying. We saw this thing when it came out originally, and this is the paperback. Great that it's getting a paperback. This is by John J. Osborne, who wrote The Paper Chase, which some of you will know as a movie. Some of you will know that as a famous movie. This is called Listen to the Marriage. And this is the lovely, is this Picador? The lovely Picador trade paperback comes out. This is $17 in the first week of October, which I guess we're in right now, right? No. But I can't tell you anything about it because the pub sheet is ripped right down the middle. Because it was stuffed into this thing and stuck to the inside instead of putting it in a manila envelope. So, I mean, it is. I remember it. It is about a marriage in crisis, and there are four main characters, and all four of them are drawn wonderfully well. It's you expect in a phenomenon like this where the author's best known book is from 50 years ago, you expect I don't even know, a lessening of power or an increase in mannerisms. And there wasn't anything like that in this book. Sorry, I'm tearing this up so it doesn't destroy anything else. There wasn't anything like that in Listen to the Marriage. Instead, it's whittled clean. It doesn't have any of the silly look at me artifice of books by oftentimes younger authors. I thought it was really, really good. So if you're the only weakness that I detected in it, just a minor thing, is that two of the four main characters are drawn considerably stronger than the other two. And that, I think, wasn't intentional. That was the only part of the book that I didn't think was intentional. I think it was just they didn't live as much in the author's mind. But if you see it at your bookstore and you're in the mood for contemporary fiction that's not by a youngin', Listen to the Marriage is a good candidate. And your copy won't be destroyed. Yours will be in perfect shape. So let's see what this next one is here. That sounds like groundskeepers. I can't catch a break this morning. They come every day. I don't know who's paying for them. They come every day. The grass doesn't grow in the course of a day, but they're here every day. I'm assuming they're sort of a two-man crew. They don't appear to be part of a larger company. So I'm assuming that somewhere along the line they are just bilking somebody for money. But it's not me. I've checked with the surly houseboy, and it's not me. Oh my. Okay, is this nonfiction? Oh yes, it is. Okay, this comes out in February, so I don't have to look at it right away. But it looks interesting. It's called "Dressed for a Dance in the Snow." Women's voices from the Gulag. This is by Monica Zygostova. Dressed for a Dance in the Snow. I don't know if you can still hear me. The rotten thing about mail halls is that I can't stop and tell them to go away and then come back because I can't edit. So I don't know if you can hear me, but we're just gonna press ahead. I'll replay this. I don't usually replay my videos when I'm done. I just post them, but I'll replay this and see if I can be heard. So let's see here. An estimated 30 million people died under Joseph Stalin's reign, a number that's impossible to truly comprehend. The author provides an intimate and personal look into this overwhelming part of history through the testimony of 9 women who managed to survive. Just as the women featured in bestsellers like The Girls of Atomic City or Hidden Figures have finally been recognized for their important places in history, it's long overdue for the stories of women in the Gulag to be told. Monica Gustova spent a decade collecting these eyewitness accounts from interviews across the world and shares them here in direct, speaker-centric style of Nobel Prize winner Svetlana Alexievich. I was wondering about that because that reminds me of that. In her interviews, she most of all wanted to understand how the women survived the impossible. It takes a dedicated crew of scoundrels to be bilking somebody of money by using electric groundskeeping equipment in the pouring rain. What she found was surprising. Within the devastating stories of murder, torture, forced confessions, slave labor, starvation, and betrayal, the worst of humanity on full display, the author also uncovered countless stories of incredible kindness and compassion, and of the close friendships formed by the prisoners and the lengths they went through to keep their humanity intact. Wow, fantastic. Okay, so this comes out in February. I'm kind of eager to read it, but I'm gonna hold off. I'm not reading any 2020 books. The Gulag stories are just unbelievable. I mean, even now they have the power to just drain the blood right from your face. Especially, to my mind, especially at the very beginning of the Gulag program, the Stalin era Gulag program, where people who were sentenced to hard labor there for any number of offenses, oftentimes the people didn't even know what the offense was. They had no idea why they were going. And oftentimes there wasn't an offense. Oftentimes someone was just picked at random in order to increase the terror of the punishment itself. But a lot of times, in those early years, people were packed onto cattle cars and sent to Siberia or wherever in the forbidden north. I've been to those places. They are unbelievable in the winter. They would be sent to these places in the winter with their ordinary everyday clothes on and told when the days later, no food, no water, the ones that survived stagger to the doors as they're open, and their armed guards tell them the doors open onto a snowfield. In the distance, there's a line of trees, and there's heavy snow blowing, so that you can barely see the hand in front of your face. And the guards would order all these survivors off these cattle cars. They'd be standing there freezing in the snow, and the guards would tell them, "Get to work, build a stockade. We want to see progress reports." And the guards would get back on the train and leave. No tools, no shelter, no food, no nothing. Just get to work, start building. No lollygagging. An absolute death sentence. The stories are unbelievable, and these women would have had. Now, I'm not sure that I don't think there were any survivors from those first batches of prisoners. So these women had to come later, and the agonies they must have went through. Can't wait to read the book. I will wait, but still. All right. This is another 2020 book. The day is coming. The day cannot be far off when our mail haul is all 2020 books. When I get an entire mail haul of books that I will not read. That's going to be very hard to deal with. So I'm going to put these things away because they'll stick to everything. All right. So what do we got here? This looks intriguing, and this comes out in early January. January 7th. I might not even be back by January 7th. This is The Emperor Who Never Was, Dara Shukho in Mughal, India, by Supriya Gandhi. The Emperor Who Never Was. I'm pleased to share with you the first modern biography of Dara Shukho, the well-loved Mughal prince and eldest son of Shah Jahan, the fifth Mughal emperor, best known for commissioning the Taj Mahal as a mausoleum for his beloved wife. Although the Mughals did not practice primogeniture, Dara, a Sufi who studied Hindu thought, was the presumed heir to the throne and prepared himself to be India's next ruler. In this book, Supriya Gandhi draws on archival sources to tell the story of the four brothers, Dara, Shuja, Murad, and Aurangzeb, who with their eldest sister Jahanara clashed during a war of succession. Emerging victorious, Aurangzeb executed his brothers, jailed his father, and became the sixth and last great Mughal. After his reign, the Mughal Empire began to disintegrate. Endless battles with rival rulers depleted the royal coffers until by the end of the 17th century, Europeans would start gaining a foothold along the edges of the subcontinent. Historians have long wondered whether the Mughal Empire would have crumbled when it did, allowing European traders to seize control of India if Dara Shikoh had ascended to the throne. To many in South Asia, Aurangzeb was the... okay, all right. Okay, let's try this again. I will fill in the missing words. To many in South Asia, Aurangzeb is the scholastic bigot who imposed a strict form of Islam and alienated his non-Muslim subjects. There we go. Dara, by contrast, is mythologized as a poet and mystic. Gandhi's nuanced biography gives us a more complex and revealing portrait of this Mughal prince than we've ever had before. Fantastic. Fantastic. All right. Fantastic. Okay. All right. So January. So we have two things for next year. Let's move on here while the groundskeepers are elsewhere. Let's see. Let's see what this next one is. Okay. All right. Well, even without the groundskeepers, maybe not to upload this particular mail haul. Every single thing is fighting me. I'm having trouble reading. I'm having trouble seeing. Maybe even without the groundskeepers shouting over idiots who are working in the pouring rain, maybe just not upload this. We shall see. I will examine it when I'm done. No, they're back. Okay. All right. Well, we don't need to worry about it. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Oh my. Oh my. Oh my. All right. This comes out in March. I don't know if you can hear me, but this comes out in March, and this is right up my alley. Good Lord. This is by Randy Roberts and Johnny Smith, and it is called War Fever: Boston, Baseball, and America in the Shadow of the Great War. In 1918, a fever gripped Boston. Not since the Revolutionary War had a passion this hot consumed the city. Lurking palpably, appearing in various forms in every neighborhood, from Fenway Park to Symphony Hall to Harvard's campus, the Great War engulfed Boston, making its way into every facet of Bostonian life, leaving it permanently altered. In their new book, War Fever, Pulitzer Prize-winning authors Randy Roberts and Johnny Smith explore the impact of global conflict on three Bostonian men: Karl Muck, the German conductor of the Boston Symphony Orchestra; Charles Whittisley, a young lawyer turned unlikely hero in Europe; and the most famous baseball player of all time, Babe Ruth, to illuminate how it changed their lives, how it gave them purpose, and how it dictated their legacy. Boston in 1918 stood as a microcosm of America, a locus of urban strife, ethnic conflict, and a fundamental lasting change. The stories of Ruth, Muck, and Whittisley reveal how a city and a nation confronted the havoc of a new world order. Okay, all right, well. Okay, so in March, from Basic Books, we get a little Boston history. I'm all for that. So, great. Although, it's yet again a book that I'm not going to read anytime soon. Let's see what this last one is. This last one is fairly heavy. I feel a kind of a weird distraction because I don't think I'm going to be uploading this video. That was a warplane that just went by to complete all the rest of this disaster. So I had to destroy a book to start it off, groundskeepers working in the pouring rain, and a warplane traveling at roof level. But nevertheless, so we've got this last one is heavy. It could be a finished copy. It is. Okay, it's a finished copy and it's a double. We've already seen this, but here I can read you the pub sheet. This is David Silverman. This is This Land is Their Land. I praised this yesterday. It's a terrific book, all about the Wampanoag Indians, Plymouth Colony, and the troubled history of Thanksgiving. The year 2020 will mark the 400th anniversary of the sailing of the Mayflower. Ahead of this anniversary of the first Thanksgiving, David Silverman offers a transformative new look at Plymouth Colony's founding events, told for the first time with the Wampanoag people at the heart of the story. This book tells how the Wampanoags of what is now southern Massachusetts have long contended that the tale of Thanksgiving that most Americans are familiar with is not history but myth, that sugarcoats the viciousness of colonialism for native peoples. For instance, in traditional accounts of Thanksgiving, the Pilgrims step onto Plymouth Rock and into a new world or wilderness where, in fact, human civilization in the Americas was every bit as rich and ancient as in Europe. The Wampanoags also had a century's worth of violent encounters with Europeans that informed their responses to the Pilgrims. Though the Thanksgiving myth suggests that Pilgrim-Wampanoag encounter was a first contact episode, in fact, it was just one of a string of bloody meetings between Wampanoags and Europeans since 1524, and particularly from 1602 on. That'll give you some taste. Okay, the second page of the pub sheet is all blurbs. Fantastic. Okay, so this comes out in early November, November 5th. And I have already read it, and I loved it. So at least we get to end on that note. So that is it. That is the mail haul you will never see, almost certainly, because this was a disaster just from beginning to end. But This Land is Their Land, new book about the Pilgrims, the first Thanksgiving, the lies, the myth involved. Then War Fever, the effect of the First World War on 3 Bostonians. The Emperor Who Never Was, new English language biography of the Mughal emperor who might have changed it all, who might have made a difference. Then Dressed for a Dance in the Snow, a new narrative history of, an oral history of women who survived the Gulag. And finally, Listen to the Marriage by John J. Osborne. Really good, a pretty little trade paperback of a really good contemporary novel about a dissolving marriage. So there you go. That's not a bad mail haul. It's a bad mail haul video, but it's not a bad mail haul. The only problem with it is that I think it presages mail hauls in which I will not be reading any of the books, as we're all hanging on by a slim thread here. So anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. Unfortunately, there's no way to redo a mail haul, but maybe I'll add these books later on to something else. Or maybe I'll watch this and decide that it's not that bad, that you can mostly hear it. We'll see. But either way, we've got lots of other bookish stuff to talk about. So I'll be back. Thank you, BookTube.